Maybe you'd like it back in your cell, Your Highness. Welcome back, everyone. Here we are with part 2 of issue 96. This should be the final part. So the first thing I want to talk about is, last time I talked about these plastic screws, and I tried to source some new ones. So I went to my local hardware store and tried a couple, and then while I was trying to figure it out, I dropped it. And you can see the color that is. And then when you have a light beige floor, it disappears in a hurry. So I kind of lost that. And so I took a chance on some that I thought was going to work. Turns out they weren't correct. The size was correct, I think, but the thread count was wrong, maybe. So I was trying to find the right thread count, and I ended up going to a hobby store, and they were able to hook me up. It turns out that they're 3mm by 6, and the ones I had purchased were standard 440s, and I was going to try to get some 448s. But it turns out these 3mm by 6 work, and we verified that by taking a nut that fits on those and put it on here, and then as you can see, what we get is a match with a black one. So I will be able to have actual screws to mount the rear section, and I only need 6, but I had to get 2 packs of 4, so I have 8. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We covered that part. While you guys were away, I got these painted. So we have the tube, and unfortunately got a little bit kind of less paint on there than I would like, just because of how I had to hold it. I tried to mask it off so that way, but trying to just put a little bit of masking tape right on the end of that proved to be very difficult. These were much easier, and we can go ahead and get these mounted. All right, nicely done. Got those on there. Going to need this glue for the last little bit, but I need to bring the actual Falcon over. So let me get everything situated for that, and then we'll get that over here. Here we go. So this is the one I want. So you can see a little bitty divot there. That is where we're going to be gluing to. And I think what I'm going to do is see if I can't clear some of the paint out of there, just so we can get a little bit better adhesion. That's probably about as good as I can get. So what I'm going to do is just put that on there like this, and we're going to test fit this. I was going to add a little bit of glue, and you can kind of see, we can get that to focus there. You can kind of see where there's some glue that kind of is out on the edges anyway. So I'm not going to add any more glue. I'm just going to let that kind of set there and set up nice there. So while we're here, I do want to try out these sides. So So with these in particular, what I may end up doing, once I put the top on, and and see how these actually fit together and all that. If I find that these aren't quite lining up, with the magnet and whatever, what I may end up doing is just taking the magnet off of, let's say, the bottom and actually glue it on in place. So I glue it on one side, let the magnet handle the other side. Pardon me. Reason for that would be I could still um, pull this apart by taking the sides pieces off, and then these could stay in place, and then this magnet would just come undone or what have you. So yeah, so there's that side, and I like how that fits. Fits on there pretty well. Pretty happy about that. So let's spin this pig around and see how the other side fits. And then we only have one thing left to do for this issue. Now this one was going to be the bigger challenge because of the way that these holes lined up or did not line up, however you want to look at it. But let's say that the magnet holds it in place. They'd be holding it in place a little bit better if, and I may pull those these dimples off, these nipples off there to kind of get it to set on there better. But the magnets are doing their job. It's just that these dimples are not allowing them to do what they're supposed to do. Yeah. We'll have to see how that goes together after we get the top on. Make sure that that fits on there perfectly fine. And we have the front here, the rear there. Those fit on really nice. I like that. That's going to be nice. Okay. All right, let's get this thing out of the road and we'll do the last part, which is going to be involving this marker. Okay, so I'm going to show you a series of photos, and I'm going to start with the port side. I have 3 on the port side, and it looks like only 2 for the starboard side, but it's really all I need for the starboard side. So we'll start with the port side, and you can see where those these black marks are. So what we're going to have to do is get those put into place, and then from there we can be done. We can be happy and move on with our day. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to start on the top here with this port side, and so not sure the best way of doing this. I'm going to need tape. So I was going to put one here, but I think it's actually a shadow from this square. So I'm going to just lift this tape back off. So I'm just going to do a quick practice session on here. I just want to make sure that I'm not going too heavy-handed with the lines. I want them to be fairly thin. And I want to make sure that if I have the tape that close together, that the line will be distinguishable between the two. So you can see how big those lines are, but like this one, I may not even have got on the paint. Oh, I did. Nice. So obviously that one is much thinner than the other one. So I gotta be careful of that. Let's pull this tape off and see how well that came out. Hopefully well, because I don't want to have to put the tape back on. So here we go. You can tell which ones are more faint, but for the most part, I like them. I will let these set up a bit before I come back and seal it all in. I think they came out pretty well. No complaints here. And this one here, it was more of a guess because I can only see it just barely on one angle. So I just had to guess that that's where there was something at. All right, so let's move on to the starboard side. So this one image I had identified as starboard, it's actually port. And so we're going to get these added for the port side again. So one of the things I'm learning is any place I use the washes really gums up the marker. So I'll have to keep that in mind as I move forward. Might be one of those things where I do the marker first before I do some of the other stuff. All right, get this tape pulled off. I like how those two lines came out for sure. The rest of these, would be nice if they came out better. But the marker just did not want to go. You can see where there's a bit of slippage there. I might see if I can clean that up. I don't know if I can. We'll give it a shot. There we go. There's that one. Oops. There's that one. We'll see if we can't clean this one up a little bit. Yeah, not bad. Clean that up a little bit. Didn't need to do much. Just help define the lines a little bit more. And those ones are fairly faint as well. But that is everything for that. Those are now done. Okay. So one thing I did not mention, so I went ahead and went back with this Gorilla Glue, and it says bonds virtually everything, and so far I can believe it. So I went back with that and put that on those washers for these where they mount to really secure those in place. I didn't show you that while we were going through there, but that's what I did. So that's everything for issue 96. So in this issue, we did a bunch of parts on the rear section there. And then when we got done, I found the screws, and I'll paint those screws when we get to that point. But I want to make sure that the screws survive so I can take it on and off. And then we mounted these two pieces and this line here that goes across to there. So we got all that mounted. So that's everything for issue 96. In issue 97, we're going to get some more, looks like more detailed parts for the rear, the rest of the ventilation, more of the landing leg stuff. So at some point we'll be working on the landing legs. I'm not sure when that's going to be, but probably coming up fairly soon. I think that rear section is going to be probably 3 issues in and of itself, so it might be we don't work on the landing legs till maybe 98 or 99. Very possible. So we're actually getting really close to completing the assembly. After that, it's all about the details. So, yeah. All right. I want to thank everybody for watching, and may the force be with you always.